Greetings, children of the screen, and welcome to another holiday edition of What You Mean You Ain't Seen. I'm joined by...
Sup, I'm Vic.
And tonight we took a look at... Batman Returns! Vic, what you mean you ain't seen Batman Returns?
I thought you called me Dick, for one. And for two, I've never been big on the Batman movies.
Well,
it just never occurred to me.
You are a dick.
Yeah.
This is not only a Batman movie, this is the greatest Christmas movie ever made. A family picture. For everyone. For all ages. Roll the clip! Batman Returns, originally released in 1992, rated PG-13, running at 2 hours and 6 minutes. Directed by Tim Burton, with a cast that includes Michael Keaton, Michelle Pfeiffer, Danny DeVito, Michael Gough, Christopher Walken, and Pat Hingle. That's right, guys, we took a look at Batman Returns, one of my absolute favorite Batman movies, and one of my absolute favorite Christmas movies. So, yeah, Batman Returns, Christmas movie. I'm sticking to that. This is this is like the holiday special episodes, and this is a holiday movie, gosh darn it.
Yeah, it just screams Christmas.
Yeah, screams it right through all the black bullshit that's coming out of Danny DeVito's face for half the movie. So, Batman Returns starts off with an aristocratic family, one of whom is played by Pee Wee Herman, and his wife gives birth to a deformed baby that they keep in a cage who eats cats, so they decide to take it to the park and throw it in a stream that will then take it into the sewer, and hopefully it will die, because it's a weird freak. And that's how we begin our holiday Batman movie. Fun for the whole family.
Yeah, of course.
So then basically the rest of this movie pretty much focuses more on the villains than it does Batman, which most good Batman stories do. So in this we see the emergence of that baby in modern day, which is 33 years after the opening, and he becomes the Penguin, and he kind of like makes an alliance with like a shady businessman played by Christopher Walken called Max Schreck, and basically they're going to rig an election so that the Penguin can become mayor and help put into place policies that Max Schreck wants done. However, Max Schreck does not realize that the Penguin actually has a greater plan to get his revenge on kind of all parents and all of Gotham, and also like play out his weird psycho like murdering needs, because like he likes to kill children. It's established in this movie Penguin's a child killer. But at the same time, Max Schreck has a secretary named Selina Kyle who discovers that one of his power plant projects is fraudulent, so he throws her out a window, pushes her out a window, and she's eaten. Did some cats try to eat her? And she has cat powers, and she's Catwoman. She's got 9 lives. And Bruce Wayne's pretty much just trying to deal with all of this while at the same time falling in love with Selina Kyle. So,
Didn't we all, though?
right? Vic, what'd you think of Batman Returns?
Honestly, I enjoyed it. As we watched it, I realized I haven't exactly seen this before, but I do have memory of it being like on the TV. Like my dad watched it when I was younger, because that's the Catwoman that I remembered seeing.
Right.
That's like, when I think of Catwoman, that's who I think of, is Michelle Pfeiffer in the cat suit, all stitched up. And
Well, there was also around this time, I believe it was a Diet Coke commercial that heavily featured Batman and Catwoman from this movie, or at least stand-ins for them that would air on TV. So yeah, and also like outside of the comic book Catwoman, or even even beyond the comic book Catwoman, this is probably the most iconic visual of Catwoman. Like, it's the one that we see knockoff costumes of every year, and like it's the one that like anyone who's doing like an Elseworld DC book, that's what they want to use.
Yeah, I mean it's hot though. I can't.
Yeah,
I don't blame them.
it's fucking hot. Yeah,
Michelle Pfeiffer.
But all in all, yeah, the movie is weird and twisted and like highly sexual, and definitely not like a family film, which is what a lot of people were expecting out of it, but it's a damn fun movie. And a really shitty Batman movie. It's one of my favorite Batman movies, but it's not a good Batman movie.
You're just jealous because I'm a genuine freak and you have to wear a mask.
You might be right.
But what it all comes down to is who's holding the umbrella. My baby!
Okay, Vic, so what was your favorite thing out of Batman Returns?
I really liked how Batman and Catwoman interacted, especially the scene where he's just like, shoves her into the floor.
Oh, and
like,
she goes, "How could you? I'm a woman."
Yeah, and then like,
and Batman's just like, I'm sorry. He's so confused.
Yeah.
And then she just like starts kicking his ass. It's pretty awesome.
Or when he tells her like the floor is like good in fiber.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? That's great. That's amazing.
Have some floor, high in fiber.
Yeah.
Eat floor. High fiber.
It's pretty amazing, and like the line I quoted to you before we watched the movie, which is one of my favorite exchanges in the movie, is so fucking cheesy, but works so well in this movie, which is the line of, mistletoe can be deadly if you eat it, but a kiss can be deadlier if you mean it. And like, it's cheesy all the way through, but when they finally get to like the masquerade party and like that line exchanges, like it really works.
And then they're like, oh shit.
Yeah, and because again, like it's a silly Batman movie, but you have really solid actors in this movie, and like Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Keaton sell that moment so hard. Even like him wiping her tear away as like trying to reassure her that things are okay, that like, and her just being like, do we have to fight now?
I know, I was
and
like,
oh god. Yeah, so like it's pretty awesome. Yeah, like their chemistry is really good, and as we were watching this, it was the first time that it ever really occurred to me where I was sitting there and I was like, oh, not only is this like one of probably like my favorite live action Batman movie and one of my favorite holiday movies, it's also like weirdly my favorite rom-com. Because like it's a weird dark movie, but like the Catwoman Bruce stuff is like so awkward and quirky. Like, it's weird, too, because rom-coms now are all about awkward, quirky people, but back then it wasn't. It was about, like, the cool, successful people. And what's weird is, like, this is kind of both, like, mixed together, and, like, somehow Tim Burton makes that work? Weird?
Man's a god.
I don't know about all that, but this was in the good era of Tim Burton, I'll say that. There's a lot of people who don't really care for this movie, but, like, I think that it's one of the better Tim Burton films, and a lot of that is because of the cast, specifically Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Keaton. Right on, and that actually kind of like moves really like smoothly into kind of my favorite thing, because really I have one thing that is my favorite thing in the movie, but I love everything in this movie so much, but I have to mention, like, beyond Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Keaton, this whole cast is just absolutely fantastic. Like, Danny DeVito as Penguin is like terrifying and ridiculously silly, and like it just works for me. And like whenever I'm supposed to laugh at the character, I laugh at the character. Whenever the character is supposed to be menacing, he is. And like it somehow just meshes with the world so well. His performance is pitch perfect. And like Walken as Max Schreck is just like, I love when he kills Selena and just like he makes her think that it's a joke that he's
Yeah.
not gonna kill her, and he's like and she's like, you had me scared, and then he pushes her. Like,
Yeah.
he's just so great as like a sleazeball, like sadistic businessman. And even like whenever Penguin, like the city turns on Penguin and they start randomly throwing like vegetables at him.
Like they were just ready for him to
like,
suck.
Which like it's a movie trope, sure, but like really in Gotham, it's my theory that Bruce Wayne paid someone to go and like hand out free vegetables at the rally, knowing what would happen. But yeah, like in that moment, Max Schreck gives Penguin a look like, "Sorry, bud, fuck you," and it's just so great. And his moment of being like, Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed like Batman?
Selena Kyle, you're fired.
And Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed up like Batman?
Because he is Batman, you moron.
Was.
And like, it's just everything about his performance is absolutely perfect, and it's amazing because he's like a character that's created for the movie. He doesn't exist anywhere else, like in the comics or anything like that. So like, it's just doing walking stuff, and it's awesome. So yeah, from top to bottom, the cast in the movie is absolutely fantastic. But I really have to say that my favorite thing in the movie is just the general aesthetic of the film itself. Like the production design, like the cinematography, the lighting, like all the miniatures that they're using to like create Gotham as like this weird monolithic labyrinth that like is just always in shadow, and like the buildings just have like massive statues like fucking hanging out of them as if like they were like titans of old who crashed through the buildings and just like, oh fuck, I'm stoned now, what am I gonna do? Like, the whole city, like, a lot of it makes no sense in terms of, like, logic, but it has, like, this bizarre, unsettling, beautiful feel to it. And, like, the way that they updated the Batsuit from the previous movie, like, with adding, like, the Art Deco armor to the abs and stuff, so it doesn't look like a muscle suit. Like, you can tell he's armored, but, like, it works because it's not everywhere.
Yeah.
And because he has armor there, you can then infer that the rest of the suit is probably armored as well. But that's just more stylized. Also, they fixed the Bat logo, because in the first movie, the Bat logo was kind of weird. They added, like, an extra little Batwing thing, like, at the bottom, an extra one of these.
E.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
An extra one of these. And, it looks all weird and shit, and then also just, like, the ears are crisper, and, like, the Batsuit just looks amazing, and like towards the end of the movie there's an explosion, and it's like the Batsuit lit up in the explosion, and it's just gorgeous. It's hands down my favorite Batsuit, especially out of like the early era of these like live action Batman outings. The car is cool, as always. The Batmobile is dope until like it loses all its pieces and basically becomes a vibrator on wheels that like almost flips over whenever it goes around corners. But yeah, like even like the Penguin's lair is like, it's nonsensical, and like there's no living accommodations in there. Everyone just hangs out, but like I guess they've been living in a sewer, I don't know, but like it looks cool visually, despite having the cleanest like sewer water or toxic waste that you've ever seen in your life. So yeah, like I can't think of a single thing in terms of the aesthetics of the film. Oh yeah, the look of Penguin, by the way, I can't miss that. Like, the look of Penguin. That's not what Penguin looks like anywhere else in Batman before. That is totally just out of Tim Burton's fucked off head. And I love it. It's brilliant. I love how in the Batman the Animated Series they had to, like, scale it back and try to make him look less disgusting. But, like, he's just spitting black stuff all the time. And, like, they announce he's going to run for mayor as he's just, like, devouring a fish. And, like, he gets rapey eyes all the time. Like, between the design of the makeup and like the bodysuit that like has like fat deposits in places that like they're all out of proportion.
Yeah.
Like humans don't get fat in those places in that proportions, and it's just like so unsettling but still clearly human. And then Danny DeVito's performance just brings it all home. Like, fuck, man. This movie visually definitely creates a tone and a feel that is unmistakable, and that's my favorite thing about Batman Returns. And other than the fact that it's just fucking awesome. Yeah. No, we'll clap for real. It's Batman Returns. Yeah! Batman! Yay.
You don't really think you'll win, do you?
Things change.
Meow.
Okay. So, and don't worry, I'm not going to get offended. This
Oh, of
this
course.
isn't going to be like Akira. This will be nothing like Akira.
Yeah, of course.
I promise. What was the least good thing in Batman Returns for you?
I fucking hated the first 5-minute sequence of watching the thing float down the river while they showed the credits. I get they had to show the credits, but it was the same thing for 5 minutes. There was nothing interesting to look at while the credits were going.
It was a bassinet in the water,
Yeah.
and it's cold.
Yeah, but it was just the same thing
Yeah,
floating
but-
down the river for 5 minutes.
Okay, no, I'm gonna say that's fair. That is fair.
Thank you.
But it is very indicative of the period in which the movie is released. Because if you remember, the opening credits for the first Batman movie is shit that you don't even know what the fuck you're looking at until the end of the credits, when we back up and we see that it's the bat symbol that we've been, like, going around inside of. Or, like, the Stargate movie from the 90s, and even the first 4 seasons of the TV show, the opening credits are just 3 minutes of music over close-ups of a sarcophagus of, like, an Egyptian mummy, and you're just moving across it, and it's got like lumped, like side, like its eyes are all fucked up and cattywampus and shit.
Okay,
like,
fair.
Yeah, so I get it, especially like from a modern eye, like it is really slow, especially in a movie that's like over 2 hours long, and like they're not giving you a lot of visually interesting stuff to work with. But that was very indicative of the time, where it was more about like setting a tone and a feel for the movie through like the music and the pacing of what they're seeing, and also giving people time to get back from the concession stand and shit like that. So, but yeah, modern day movies are much quicker about like just get the fuck to it. Like, this is the movie.
Yeah,
Like,
they
and-
like do the credits while the movie's going.
yeah, or if there is an opening credit sequence, they try to like make it kind of flashy and give you something more than just credits with it. So, yeah, no, I can see, especially like having never seen that movie before and just watching it now, like, yeah, that can probably be a little frustrating. Yeah, fair.
That, and I'm just an impatient bitch, so.
Plus, like, most of the movie's pretty good, so I'm sure it's like,
Yeah.
it's a good movie.
I had to pick something.
Yeah, so like, no, I'm good with that. That won't get you killed, because Batman will come after
Yay.
me. I don't know, this Batman's a fucking psychopath.
He would be like, you didn't like the opening sequence?
Right.
You can die. I'm not gonna kill you, but I don't have to save you either.
That's a different Batman.
I know.
And that's a completely different fucking conversation. But interestingly, that leads us very well into my least favorite thing about this movie.
Segway!
So, my least favorite thing about Batman Returns is the fact that Batman Returns is a fucking awful Batman movie. I love this movie. Don't get me wrong. Look, just go back and rewatch how much I just like gushed over this goddamn thing. I love this movie. They do so much cool and so much right in terms of it being its own movie, a Tim Burton movie. But in terms of being a Batman movie, fuck, like everything is off. Like, again, like the aesthetics are really cool for the movie, but they do not really represent Batman all that well. Although a lot of the Tim Burton aesthetics were after the first movie were added to the Batman like comics and the cartoon that came out in the 90s and that kind of stuff. So, you know, like there's a little bit of crossover there, but like again, Michael Keaton, I love him in this movie, but he's not any version of Bruce Wayne we've ever seen in the comics. Like, Michael Keaton is the kind of guy who has to wear a bat costume to go out and fight people. Like Batman in the regular comics, he could literally just go out like in year one in a ski mask and stuff and be about as effective. Whereas like Michael Keaton's Batman, you're like, no, like being in that suit is like part of a character. It's like, it is another identity that he needs to do this. And he's a psychopath. He kills tons of people. That's the biggest thing. Is like, he kills the Joker in the first movie. He tells him, I'm gonna kill you. And then he fucking kills him. And then in this movie, he kills tons of dudes, including like taking dynamite and putting it down a strong guy's.
Just like smiling.
And then he like kicks him into the sewer, and it like boom, you know, and like yeah. So Batman definitely kills, but again, I've said this before. It's another conversation, but every version of Batman in the movies has killed, except for George Clooney. But we're not going there. Fucking Batman and Robin, bad credit card, a fucking bat. This movie has other problems. As I said, Danny DeVito is great. The makeup is great. That's not fucking Penguin. What? Huh? No. What are you doing? That's... No. Okay? No. Alright? Catwoman? She has fucking cat powers. Where the fuck... Like, Tim Burton doesn't read comic books. He saw the cover to Killing Joke, and that's why he wanted to make the whole Batman movie. It all came from him looking at one image, you know, and then flipping through Killing Joke. He doesn't know fuck about comics. So, like, he's like, oh yeah, she's Catwoman, so clearly she has I don't know why he sounds like Dudley Do-Right. I'm sorry. Like, he's just like, yeah, so she has, like, oh, he's like an artsy-fartsy fuck. So he's like, you know, like, she's Catwoman, so, like, you know, she's got cat powers, right? I'm Tim Burton, like, in movie magic.
So many people are going to be watching this and hating you.
I know, I don't give a fuck. I used to love Tim Burton, but the truth of the matter is, he's fallen off a little bit. And in this movie, you can kind of see the beginnings of that, because they gave him a lot of freedom in this movie. And he, like, went off the rails. I would also say that, like, the story, the narrative in this movie is not nearly as strong as in the previous movie. And that's because, really, it's more of a Burton movie. And we've seen, in modern day, what happens when you give Burton complete creative control over a movie. It's not a movie. It's just a series of cool-looking shit that doesn't add up to anything. You get fucking Alice in Wonderland, where all of a sudden it has to become Lord of the Rings in the third act. But they said it was going to be more faithful to the book. And apparently Alice as a child had a pedophilic relationship with the Mad Hatter. And he's like in love with her. That's what happens when you give Tim Burton full creative control of a movie. And then this movie, it was almost that bad, but he was still a young man, and it was a different time. But people were pissed about this movie when it came out. Parents groups were furious. McDonald's was furious because they had sunk millions into an advertising campaign that like linked in with the movie, and like they're trying to sell toys, but you got Danny DeVito just like spurting black shit everywhere, and like Catwoman and Bruce dancing and making hard-on jokes. You know?
Not to mention that little sexy bit we saw of her just like licking up.
Yeah, like licking up his face, which
very
just
obviously
makes
sexual.
Yeah, which just makes your whole body go whoa.
Honestly,
as a kid watching this movie, my body did that. I didn't have no idea what the fuck was going on, but it happened, and like, yeah, like what I'm trying to say, guys, is Batman Returns is a great movie. I really enjoy it, but I really do. I love this movie. It is a fucking horrible Batman movie, and it is a symptom of the like skewed perspective on the character that people took in the late 80s and early 90s, which the Burton movies helped perpetuate. Like, that's why now in the frickin' Zack Snyder movies with Batman, he just mercilessly murders people. And, like, these movies also are what made Frank Miller then the next time he went to do a Batman story make him even more edgy and, like, be like, oh, you think you like that? Fuck you. I'm gonna make him crazy.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, guys, this movie, while I love it, is definitely not only a not good Batman movie, but it also contributed to a lot of the misgivings and, like, misconceptions that people carry about Batman to this very fucking day. And that is my least favorite thing about Batman Returns.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Come and get me, Burtonites.
You missed.
Right on, Vic. So, would you recommend Batman Returns for a holiday viewing for people out there this year?
No.
Fuck you.
Not for a holiday view.
Fuck you.
I get that it was set at Christmas time, but it didn't feel like a Christmas movie.
It's based on the same narrative as A Christmas Carol. Don't you remember that whenever Home Dude, when Christopher Walken gets kidnapped, Penguin tells him that it's a hallucination brought on by eating like bad cheese or something. It's a line from A Christmas Carol, okay? Penguin.
That doesn't make it.
Penguin represents the ghost of Christmas past, okay? Then Catwoman represents the ghost of Christmas future, the future Bruce could have, all right? And then frickin' Shrek represents the ghost of Christmas present. Not Shrek, the big green guy, Christopher Walken. He represents the ghost of Christmas present as he's a parallel to Bruce Wayne. He's a rich business tycoon, but he has, like, the opposite. Like, don't you see what I'm saying? It's a fucking Christmas movie. Would you recommend it to people?
No! I mean, yes, I would recommend it to people. But
No, just stop there. That's fine. See, I also highly recommend it as a Christmas film because it's fantastic, and you should all go watch it right now. Right now.
From the sewers of Gotham, a new villain emerges.
You didn't invite me, so I crashed.
From the rooftops of Gotham, the perfect enemy comes to life.
yeah.
And the only one who can save this city is a creature of the night. Above Gotham looms its greatest hero.
Right on, guys. Thank you very much for joining us for another holiday edition of What You Mean You Ain't Seen, Batman Returns.
Later.
Right on, guys. And if you like this video, then please leave a like and share it with some friends. Also, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit that little Christmas bell so you can get updates on all the dope contents we'll have coming out in the future. Furthermore, guys, if you'd like to follow us on Instagram or Twitter, we'll have the link for that in the description down below. Once again, thank you very much, children of the screen. Hope you all have a good one and a happy holidays. Nerd Scum, motherfucking out! Ho 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 ho.
What'd you call me?
Ho 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 ho. Use a hoe. Happy holidays, everybody.